tonight, right now, I'm just gonna go through Micro Ancient Times card by card to just see how we feel about it. You know, we've played a lot of fun games over the last week, and we've seen a lot of new tricks. We've had some serious discussions about the stack, and now we gotta kind of, step back and do a year in review. Lots have changed moving into the new year. Maybe we want to be a different environment. I don't know. So I got my trusty playmat here in my fancy playmat container, which I think I'm just gonna sticker up. I'm not gonna get one of those tubes. I got a tube. All right, let's get this baby out. Still over the moon happy about this. I'm not gonna lie, actually, the stitching creates the tiniest little bump in the edge, which sometimes catches the cards. C'est la vie, Talk about first world problems. All right, here we go. Micro Ancient Times is in this old box, and I use these thick ass half-inch acrylic tokens. Wonderful. Thick, ridiculous acrylic. It was a leftover, had a leftover acrylic, basically a bunch of acrylic just being thrown away at an old job. And now I cut it into tokens, and we get to draw on them. I don't want to actually erase these goblins because they're beautiful, but they'll get erased. Okay, so these are all my lands. So what I'm gonna do is I think I'm just gonna, these are kind of shuffled, maybe they're not. I'm just gonna stack them out, and then we'll just pull a card randomly and just start talking about it from there. Boom, boom, ba-dum, boom. This is exciting. Gotta say, it's exciting. I was thinking about doing those dragon sleeves or whatever that are clear, just because, man, do I love the OG card back on Magic cards. Look at this thing. Timeless Deckmaster. What does that even mean? I love it. Never get tired of it. Well, maybe I get tired of it once in a while, but then it comes back around. It comes back in vogue. Fashion. I don't know anything about fashion. All right, let's just start one by one and see what we get. This video is inspired by, of course, the folks over at Lucky Paper Radio doing a resleeving. I'm not resleeving stuff, I'm just talking about stuff. And this particular video is inspired by Sir Elmer Ding Dong on the Discord. Said he would watch any kind of, or they would watch any kind of video, and this is a video of content. I'm also going to be slamming beers as much as I can before I pass out. This is one of my last nights before the rest of the family comes home, and I have the house to myself, so I'm up in the echoey recesses of the dining room instead of in the dark and cozy basement. Enjoy. Okay, Micro Ancient Times. Let's do it. Hey, off to a good start. Acacian Javelineers. You know what? You always get more than you bargain for with this guy. He does a lot of work. 1 mana that can do damage, I'm telling you, always has a place. There's always stuff to do. Oh, just solid. It's just a solid card. Aggro. If there was aggro, it would be this. Oh gosh, the Delrig. 6/6 trample is probably the biggest creature in the cube right there. And he's got this hilarious way of sacking 3 black creatures instead of paying his mana cost. And if you pull that off, you just feel like a genius. And that's what this cube is all about. Feeling like a genius. It's about, setting up these things where people feel like they've just been given this wonderful, simple puzzle that only they know how to solve. Oh, Reoccurring Nightmare. What can I say about that? It's probably broken as hell. We saw that recently with a squirrel deck with the ranged hermit. And it was broken. It was great though. It was great to see. Made me reevaluate that card, but you know, whatever. Hey, there's another fancy one. That's a standard. There's way too many words on this card. Like, what is this? We printed nowadays? Ridiculous. Get out of here. Visions though. This is when they didn't know what they're doing though. I understand. Flash, it's basically. Its flash ability is so nice. To have that little bit of flexibility, it always comes in handy. It makes you feel like you just have options, which I love. Standard bearer. Not a big fan of this picture, to be honest, but dang, what a solid card. It's always out there just antagonizing people. There's so many things that you want to do to your creatures to make them better that this card just soaks it all up. And it really stymies people. It's kind of an amazing card. Doesn't look like that great off to its face, but it is. It really is. Puppet strings. So, why isn't this Icy Manipulator? It's because of that untap ability. And I'm telling you, it comes in handy. I don't know, puppet strings. I haven't seen somebody play this and lose. But it's not obvious why they won. But it is, but it isn't. Let's put artifacts right there. Flickering Ward. Some people say this card is like sneaky tech. But no, this is just standard, solid, good stuff. Protection. Not a lot of people like protection. Joe, one of the main men in my life, he hates protection. I like how that sounded. Anyways, love this card. Bounce it all around. Be great in an Enchantress deck, but I don't run it. Don't run Enchantress. Mind Stone, the title card of the cube. The brain, the stone. There's not a lot of ways to draw cards outside of blue. Blue really kind of has the monopoly on that. So Mind Stone is just a nice kind of cantrip for those off-color, not blue decks. Also not a lot of rocks. I think there's just one other rock in here. So if you want ramp, you usually have to play green. If you want card draw, you play blue. If you're not playing blue or green, then I would definitely try to pick up a Mind Stone. Fact or fiction? Oh my gosh, who was that? Somebody did a long and wonderful article about how you should play fact or fiction. Maybe I'll find it and drop it in the show notes, as they say. I don't know. I don't have any show notes. What am I kidding? Love this card though. It's always fun. Never a bad card to play. Like just the humanity in that card. Chamber of Manipulation. This card is such a stinker. Basically just makes people super fucking mad. But I think it's okay. I think we saw it stolen. We saw somebody steal the land that this enchanted in the last game, and that was beautiful. So I think it's okay. I did play a game where I got super angry, wanted to flip over the table because of that card, but you know what? It's not all about me. Or is it? Meekstone. Yeah, I don't know. This warps game's so hard. It's such a feel-bad card sometimes. But also, like, it lets the little people run wild. I don't know. I'm on it. I'm still high on it. I think it's great. I think it does great things to the meta. Meekstone, it just controls the board in such a wonderful way. Planar Guide. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I'm going to swap this guy out. I think it's the 4 cost on his activated ability that just really slows it down. You know, it has so many good synergies with the rest of the cube. But for some reason, that 4-drop on a the one-time 4-drop just isn't hitting. No one's doing it. No one's doing the thing. I don't know. I could be convinced otherwise. Is anybody in chat? Of course not. LOL. Just out here alone. Fire ants. Talk about somebody having a bad day. You know, I saw some big ants when I was down in Bolivia. That's another story. Fire ants get a fair amount of play. I feel like they have some chops. They can really kind of hose the entire board of whatever it is, snakes or squirrels and shit. You know, that's what red does. It wants to kind of like try to keep the green wave back. That didn't sound good. Blast from the past. Oh man. Turns out you should pick this over Lightning Bolt. It's a better card than Lightning Bolt. If you guys aren't playing Blast from the Past, whew, you are missing out. Also, that's a tiny little, I don't know if you all see this. That is a tiny little goblin up at the top there. Anyways, it's gonna ruin the focus on this thing. All right. Next up, the Ravaged Highlands. Yep, I took a Sharpie and I trashed a bunch of cards. I feel totally good about that though, to be honest. This card is wonderful. It's a mountain that you can sack for any color. It's perfect. It doesn't need to come into play tapped. Ridiculous. No, it's perfect as it is. It's absolutely perfect, just as you are. Wow, Night Soil. Night Soil does so much work. Single-handedly screwing over the Recurring Nightmare deck. I can't tell you how much work Night Soil does in this meta. Love it. If you're not playing Night Soil, it's one colorless. Remove 2 creatures from an opponent's, from any graveyard. And create a 1/1 green sapling token. Oh, it's magical. Magical Night Soil. Squee. I gotta be honest, Squee is not the best card. I think it might be because it's red. And red has just got other plans. I almost drafted Squee in a black-green deck just so I had the discard engine. I don't know. I'm still keeping him in here because I just can't wait to see somebody build like a crazy discard synergy deck. It's here. It's somewhere. Firecat Blitz. Okay, so I have had a lot of trouble with X spells in red. In the sense that like you're playing a good game, you're playing a totally fine game, it's totally great, everybody's having a great time, and then out of nowhere, boom! X spell for whatever, 15, game is over. It's not great, I gotta admit. Also, this beer is not great. Whatever. Firecat Blitz is an X spell, but it has to go through the board, which is hilarious. A bunch of cats running around, and it's got a weird flashback. I mean, who doesn't like that? And I think there's a secret mode where you play some kind of fucking sacrifice deck. You Firecat Blitz all the way across the board, and then you sack all your things to like a carrion feeder or some crap. I don't know. The ceiling is so ridiculously high in its hilarious synergy world, Christmas land, that I'm keeping it in. And I'm not putting in other X spells because I didn't like that ends the game on the spot kind of vibe. As we go through this, I'm sure everybody will slowly learn what the grind means to me. The grind is different for everybody. Thran Quarry, see, there's everybody working at the mine, grinding away. This is a great card. I don't know why this isn't $1,000. It's basically just like an any color land. I don't know. You always have creatures on the board. This is amazing. Sleeper tech. That's not a thing. Okay, layers. I know. People are mixed about layers, but I'm on them. I feel like the whole thing where you tap a land and then you return that tapped land to your hand to play the layer and then tap that layer, it doesn't actually slow you down too much on tempo, whatever that means. So I'm feeling positive. Positive layer vibes. Uh-oh. Okay. Boop. Let me just see if there's any way to alert humanity of this terrible decision I made. Let's see. I don't know, is it a bad idea? It's probably a bad idea. I'm gonna do it anyways. This is the last night of freedom. Where should I post it? Oh, content. Oh, terrible. Cube changelog. Here we go. Sup? I'm streaming. And then you post the link. Boop. That's not gonna work. Maybe I'll just like add somebody. Lol. Okay. I like how 0 people are in the chat. Amazing. Here we go. Oh, my man. What can I say about Forgotten Ancient that isn't just like all positive reviews across the board? The dude is just the meaning of the grindiest embodiment. Just when you watch, I can't get over it. He's such a good card. A 0-3 for 4, you would just never think. But then it just balloons out of control, and he's passing out food, and everybody's having a good time. It's just like forest party with this dude. Love it. Absolutely love it. Never getting rid of that card. That's the main man. That's the top title card of the big cube. It's really kind of like, I built everything around that card, really. Squirrel Nest. I'm going to be honest, I've never really liked squirrels. It's just the idea of squirrels. I just don't like thinking about squirrels. But squirrels have taken the place of like a cool token, so they do a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool squirrel tokens out there. This one is amazing. I don't have the Infinite Earthcraft in the microcube, but man, this card along with Chamber of Manipulation, this card along with Helm of we'll get to it. Not a Helm of Obedience, but we'll get to it. Those tokens always get sacked, is the point. I've never seen one of those squirrels made from that nest ever attack anybody. Oh, mwah! The best possible art for City of Brass. Enough said. Fight me. Okay. Manifold key. Yeah, I know. I upgraded it. I upgraded it from the other key to this key. And it's that unblockability that that just really twists the knife. Makes it useful for decks that aren't running a shit ton of artifacts. And makes it even better for our decks that do. I don't know. It's great. I'm not too worried about it being overpowered. At least not in here. Whoa! Avatar Woe is amazing. It's such a beater. Totally starts, like when this gets on the board, I mean, wow, people panic. Also, don't ever take a close look at that art. I mean, unless you want nightmares. I'm telling you. Also, whoever plays this for 8 mana? Not me. Not anybody. You either reanimate it, or you just drop it in for 2. That is a good creature. Putrid Imp, doing the work. Pieces of the puzzle. You need these smaller puzzle pieces, and this is a great one. It's just something about, even though it doesn't even have flying. It's ridiculous. Looks terrible, but it actually does the work. Vampire Hounds. Okay. This is the first Magic card that I ever saw in my entire life. And I thought it was super duper cool. Clearly, it's led me down the wrong path. So much so that I defaced it later in life. So now it just says choose and discard a card. Doesn't need to be a creature card. Vampire Hounds gets 2/2. That's the way to go, man. Just any old card, and it has a pump. It's basically Wild Mongrel, but it starts a little tougher. And it's in black, which is how you want it to be. Exhume. Oh, such a fun card. I can't believe they printed this at Common, but who cares? Played this in a two-headed giant game, and it was amazing. I don't know if it worked out better for me, but just like all the creatures coming back out of nowhere for 2 mana, can't go wrong. Pain. Pain lands. Oh, the pain lands are so good. You really do want to draft like a big, weird 3, minimum 2 with a splash of color, 3-color deck out of this stuff. And it hurts, it stings, the pain. But you get to do these crazy things with 3 colors, so it's a good trade-off. Imperial Armor. Somebody was saying that this card is a feel-bad. And they said that they had a really hard time with it, and they hated the world and stuff like that. I haven't seen it do the bad stuff too many times. Only once, when it was on Commander Isha, was I like, yikes. But in general, it's just a solid pump. There's not very many ways to pump your creatures in here. And that one's a nice one, especially with all the other discard stuff. It kind of is the anti-discard card. With that card, you really want to run Howling Mine, which is everybody's favorite. Hey, Stampede Driver. Wonderful little 1-drop that gives everybody +1/+1 and trample when you discard a card. Fantastic little guy. I mean, totally, criminally underrated. Criminals. Confusing picture. Is he riding a Kabu through a field of eggs? I don't know. Don't get too worried about that. Brawn. Brawn's a new ad. I don't know. Could be good. It's funny to see Stampede Driver and Brawn back to back. There's not very many ways to give things trample in here. Those are the main kind of players. I think Brawn's nice because, yeah, when you're discarding stuff, like you want to feel like value's being had. Just added Brawn. I don't know. I'm holding my judgment on how that's gonna play out. Covetous Dragon. Ah, man, Covetous Dragon. I think I gotta cut it. I think I gotta cut it because there's been some more focus on destroying artifacts lately, and I put in a braid and a couple other things. And I really don't want this to get 2 for 1. I think people would feel pretty sad about that. I think it really only works in like a green, red, rampy style deck thing. I don't know. I don't see it. We're going to see what happens. I think I'm going to throw in one of those newfangled old border cards that don't get released until mid-January. We shall see. Oh, Lava Baby. Anger. Anger is better than Brawn. I'm not going to lie. Brawn's fine, but Anger is amazing. Haste does so much work in this meta. I don't know why. Maybe it always does. But damn, it's good. Throwing Anger in the yard feels incredible. Well, now there's a fancy new card. Lingering Souls. I'll draft this even if I'm not in white at all. Just to chuck it out of my hand and pull it back with black. Or I'll draft this if I'm in white and some other color and not black. Just because there's a lot of different ways to get just the off-color mana out of one of your random lands, and it's worth it every time. That is a really good card. Spirit Cairn, again, this is kind of pushing that discard idea. I think that you're seeing a lot of discard stuff, you know? I can imagine Chamber Manipulation and Spirit Cairn having fun together, Vampire Hounds and Spirit Cairn, Putrid Imp, you know, discarding Brawn, Stampede Driver. There's a lot here. This is just on the board as of now. You see a bunch of different ways to make Spirit Cairn do its thing. I think it's worth it. I haven't seen it yet, but my hope is high. Serenity. It's gonna be fine. It'll work. I think it'll be fine. It'll work. That's one of the reasons why I'm cutting the dragon. Serenity dropping in. We've just had so much crazy things happen with artifacts and enchantments that I felt like we needed a bomb just for them. And Serenity has this wonderful clock on it and stuff. We have to wait around for it to blow up. No. It's good stuff. Oh man, the lighting. I just see. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Shit, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just like in my living room, kitchen area. Anyways. Sorry you can't see any of this crap over here. Oh well. Maybe let's try to pull the mat over. Did that help? Sort of. Boop, boop, boop. Well, it is what it is. Put my tokens over here. Beers. Tarot cards. Speaking of tarot cards, maybe we should pull a card for Goblin Welder. You know? I want it to work so bad, and like there's all these crazy stories about Goblin Welder, but really, like, does he ever really do his thing? Like, I've never seen it. Like, I'm sure it's incredible. Let's see here. Okay, Tarot. Okay, Goblin Welder, this is your one card. We're pulling a card just for you. And it is gonna be the card that is you're either gonna get cut out of this cube or not. There. I can see it, I can feel it. I'm gonna flip it over. The Seven of Wands. All right, Goblin Welder, are you staying in the cube? 3 of Wands, 7 of Wands. It's upright. Goblin Welder, you have worked hard for where you are. Ain't that the truth? But you are being challenged by opponents. Oof. You may be under attack, blamed, harassed, or scapegoated, but you are fighting your corner and standing up for your beliefs. You are defensive, assertive, and determined. Your life may be busy and challenging right now, but you have the stamina to endure it. Fine. I'll keep you in. That was good. Can't cut somebody who's just out there grinding. Hey, read the room. I call it read the room, not read the rooms, because obviously. And also it just looks like he's just shredding air guitar. Like out in the desert. Oh my God. It's epic. Aside from all that, super cool card, especially for token decks. If you somehow manage to get together some kind of blue, green, or white token deck, you can sack all those wonderful tokens for cards. Or if it's late game, sacking your lands and stuff. Read the Runes. Awesome card. Awesome draw card. Not the best out there, obviously, but, you know, you want to draw a card that speaks to the other things going on in life, like tokens and all that other garbage. Hey, Battle Screech. Battle Screech is not as good as Lingering Souls, but the flashback is free, So it's maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it is. That's tough. They're very similar, and awesome. What I like about that Battle Screech is that it's just like big wings. Just pictures of wings. Can't go wrong with that. Sultari Visionary. So this guy, if he does damage to a player, you can destroy an enchantment they control. That's some pretty serious enchantment hate, especially on a shadow creature. It's basically you're gonna get a disenchant out of this. Another criminally underrated card, in my opinion. Shadow, not everybody's favorite, that's for sure. But I don't know. I really always enjoyed the shadow art. It's kind of just like weird beings that are made out of steam or something. Why that's a shadowy thing, don't know, but I like it. And the Visionary is one of my favorites. Phyrexian Colossus. Well. There are a lot of options for big fatty artifact creatures. You know, Colossus of Sardia is a staple that they used to throw Colossus of Sardia in the back of these $2 decks that you could buy down at this LGS that a long time ago, ages ago, 20 years ago. Man, they had a Colossus of Sardia and a Soul Ring in a $2 60 card deck that they just random LGS like employees would just put together and throw in a bin with a rubber band on it. Whew. Okay, nostalgia taking over. Those days are gone. Phyrexian Colossus is awesome. Gets reanimated. Saw him played, hard casted a couple times. Solid card. Sinjir Autocrat. Amazing. Absolutely eating up those surf tokens so many ways. We're not really actually seeing too many sack outlets right now, but they're here. Definitely have done the Sinjir Autocrat into Delrake move once or twice, and that feels so good. Also drawing surf tokens. Oh, the best. Hey, Thalicos Seer. This is just like a 1/1 shadow, and if it leaves play, you draw a card. I love it. It's like bizarrely simple. It's a 2-mana cantrip that usually gets in a few points of damage. I don't know. I think it's crazy underrated. There's a bunch of ways to bounce it and do a bunch of weird things later. Equilibrium's in here somewhere, and that's one of the pieces of Equilibrium that you really want to have. Arcane Denial, fantastic card. Who needs to say anything about that? Counter a spell, everybody draws cards. Oh, win-win. No feel bads there. Lair. Veggie Lair. Veggies. Painland. Cave of Kolios. I really like that art. I kind of want to go there. Maybe I've already been there. Don't know. Maybe I'll be there one day. Won't that be embarrassing? After a long hike, almost dying of thirst, coming to a cave and being like, this reminds me of a magic card. Treetop Village. A 3/3 with trample. Actually pretty good. Brawn just alone on the land is good. The Treetop Village being a sneaky 3/3, really good. Don't understand the flavor entirely, to be honest. Why they have trample? Are they like falling out of the trees on people? Probably the best man land. Man of War, talk about a man. Here's a card that is impossible to type in because of the apostrophes and the various dashes. I'm not even sure. I've never been able to type it in correctly. Solid design though. Clean as a whistle. You don't get any cleaner than Manowar. You really don't. Also, this picture of just like, it's a jellyfish from the darkest Lovecraftian depths of the ocean. Wonderful. Shivan Reef. Can't wait to be done with this terrible beer. It's not that bad. Painland. Great. I think that's one of the more pricier Painlands. Leroy Jenkins! We all know the story. Thundermare just comes down, taps everything, gets in 5 damage. It's basically an X spell without X being anything. It's basically just like a direct damage spell. And then there's all this weird aftermath of everybody's creatures being tapped and shit. It's fantastic. You can do the weirdest tricks with this. When you bounce it, or this in combination with Meekstone is a fun way of like tapping down other people's big creatures that they're like saving. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyways. Hard to describe. Wonderful when you play it. Unearth. Oh my gosh. The worst art ever on this. Like, what is this? It's like, are those gravestones or are they guitars? I always thought they were like guitars with like two, it's gonna show what I know about music. What's the hole in the guitar that lets the sound out? Oh, anyways. All these old Magic cards look like people doing ridiculous musical stunts. And Unearth is no different. All right. Coffin Queen. Dang. This lady is such a threat. I can't even begin to describe the shenanigans that you get into with the Coffin Queen. It's fantastic. All right. I'm gonna move a few things up a bit. Shit. Right. Should I have said this stream is full of curse words? Because it is. All right, here we go. Oi! Oi! Somebody told me that I was just going to spend an ungodly amount of hours delicately arranging decade-old cardboard memorabilia. I'd be like, dude, I'm not that person. Hell no. Here I am. Loving it. To be honest. Fucking loving it. Yeah, I was thinking about getting those dragon sleeves clear all the way through. What do you think? That'd be a good idea? Let's hear it from the chat. And nobody's in there, obviously. Oh shit, okay. I took work off tomorrow, because you know what? It's dead week, or whatever, right? Also, I gotta like clean the house and stuff. Fam's coming back. They're gonna be like, oh no, I don't want to wade through these sea of empty milk cartons. That's not true. One time though, when I was a kid, we did come back to my house a little early from some vacation, just my sister, my mom, and I, and we found my dad wandering around in his underwear through knee-deep empty milk cartons. We're like, why'd you drink so much milk? Anyways, I'm always worried that's gonna happen to me. Silent of Darkness, the worst art I've ever seen. I'm just not into this kind of like 80s gym mentality, you know? I feel like Planet Fitness over here It's just gotta chill out. But he's a solid card. He reanimates. He like basically puts himself in the yard, which is awesome. He's got trample, and you can steal stuff. I mean, he does a bit. I just wish he wasn't so fit. Embarrassing. Bloodfire Dwarf. Now there's a nice little 1/1. Just keeping the board free of the terrible vegetation of saplings or fucking squirrels. It's nice. Little Bloodfire Dwarf killing a Coffin Queen or something like that. Feels good. Phyrexian Ghoul. You know, there's a couple different versions of this card. I think another one is some Nantuko. But I kind of like this one. It's a zombie. Not that it matters. I don't do anything about tribal. Fuck tribal. Sorry. If you're doing tribal, that's cool. Whatever. You do you. I like this dude because you sack just a random sack outlet. I mean, sack outlets are just great. Specifically for shit like Chamber of Manipulation. You're just like, no, you do not get to take my thing. I'm gonna sack it. Better than it looks, believe me. Even just a random sack outlet didn't do anything to be good, to be honest. Oh, here's another good sack outlet. Plague Lord. Wow, this guy does a lot of work. I like how you can throw him down and you don't need to tap him. He can sack himself to do -1/-1. Or, if you have the time and the patience, -4/-4. I don't know. It's good. It's really good. It's a great card to do the stupid like long-term recursive loops with all the reanimate stuff, just to get that value. Faceless Butcher. Don't enjoy the name. To be what is this? Faceless Butcher? Like, who named that? I mean, like in the world, was it just like a villager who saw this thing and was like scared? Anyways, super fun ability that sometimes you want to blink your own dudes with this thing. You know, it's a nice little choice. You never know. You never know. Pain. Underground River. Solid. Stalactites. Stalagmites. We all know how that works. Okay. The disc. The power of the disc. The disc really does have some serious mental vibes. And I've always liked how the background of the disc is like a really dark green. Like, it's not black. It's like a weird dark green. I don't know why that makes it scarier. Not to mention the Lovecraftian horror coming out of some random portal. But the dark green background, that's the thing. Mindless Automaton, pretty solid. Works really well in discard decks that you want to discard things, and then you basically get that discard back in the form of half of a card later, essentially. I'm not thrilled by it anymore, but I think it has a place. You can tell right now that card is on the chopping block. Curse Scroll. Curse Scroll definitely slaps. You end up top decking in this cube because games go long. You churn through a lot of stuff, and before you know it, everybody's spent all their stuff and they're just like hoping to God they're gonna get the thing off the top of the deck. But if you're holding on to the Cursed Scroll, you are in the winning seat for sure. Keep that in mind, everyone. Power Matrix. Oh my goodness. Talk about a card that overperforms. In this meta, giving something +1/+1, flying, and first strike, and trample, all in one, it's just bananas. It's bananas. And it's awesome. Power Matrix. Ridiculous. Call of the Who. Recently swapped this one in. They were all out of the Odyssey version, so I had to get the time shifted one, but whatever. You know? Like, do I care? I kind of care. A little bit. But I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. We just saw this card do its beautiful, dirty business in a 2-2GH, 2-headed giant game. And somebody enchanted it with Elephant Guide. So what does an elephant token with Elephant Guide mean? I asked the Discord and they said it was like the spiritual ancestors of the elephants are following each other. Anyways, I liked it. I kind of want to write a whole short story about it, but it's not going to be cute. Or maybe it will. Anyways, Call of the Herd, actually great. Reason number one is just because flashback, right? Discarding that card feels great, and then also just having answers, having things in your graveyard that can do stuff feels amazing. The more those options, more options. Seafloor de Braz. Awesome. I'm telling you, these should be real lands. These are so much fun to play with. I can't tell you enough how much fun they are. I can't even explain it. You just have to see it to believe it. It's so simple, it's clean, gives you what you want. Remand. This is what I thought Magic cards did. I'm sorry, counterspells did when I was young, and I thought it was awesome. And then I realized that they were much meaner and terrible. And so when Remand came out, I was like, hooray! Back to my roots. Anyways, it's a cantrip draw. What is it? Doesn't matter. It's great. There's only a few counterspells in here. I think Arcane Denial and Remand might be the only two counterspells. And, use them wisely. Use them wisely. Hey, Chris Mage. Yes, I redacted out the cost on this thing, so all you have to do is discard a card for it to do 1 damage to anything. That is spicy. Yes! I had to get rid of a card because there was a broken infinite loop or something. I think it was Curiosity. Yeah. You can imagine how that goes. But this is still awesome. Wonderful way of just like dropping a bunch of stuff in the yard, doing a bunch of damage. It's only 1 mana, so like turn 1, boom, you can come in with just like 6 to the dome. Wouldn't that be surprising? Might be a bad idea, but damn, that would be surprising. Aeleopile. This was back in the day when wizards actually looked things up and like had weird knowledge of esoteric artifacts, real things. I encourage everyone to look up what Aeliopiles really are. They're essentially not a vial that will blow up. They are a type of mechanical steam apparatus that is kind of some of the earliest devices that showed how steam can propel mechanical motion. Well, anyways, pretty cool. Oh, my man. Thank God that beer is done. Okay. Mog Maniac. I wrote a whole blog post on this guy. I just want people to realize that he has got a ball and chain hanging off of his ear. So you just appreciate the cartilage, the strength of the cartilage on this man. Beast or whatever it is. Anyways, wonderful card that just does a really nice kind of subtle red tempo game. Like it's kind of a wall, but also there's ways of kind of directing damage back into it from other creatures that can only do damage to creatures. So like FTK or even like Abrade or any of those like little damage wraths like Crater Helion or the Shard Phoenix, all those things with this dude on the board, you just get an option for a different kind of value, which might close out a game. You never know. Abandoned Outpost. Lands. Love it. Fairy Conclave. Never liked this picture. I just feel like it didn't nail the like, I don't know. The fact that it's a 2/1 flyer, like it hurts. When this thing is going and you don't have an answer to it, it can be a little bit spooky. Not terribly spooky, but just the right amount of spooky. It's a good amount of pressure. Noble Hierarch, I really wish that they had done the rules text for Exalted on this card. Why did they leave that out? Exalted is such a bizarre mechanic, and the last game we saw both the Hierarchs out at the same time, and other creatures were attacking for +2/+2. It was sick. It was dope. I loved it. Who didn't love it? Everybody loved it. But I just wish you had the full text, that's all. I like he's a scary dinosaur frog or whatever too. Grim Bada Bim. Strangely, doesn't get a lot of play. I don't know why, but I'm holding out because 2 damage to anything is pretty damn good. It's like he's like a better late game card than you would imagine. I wouldn't mind top decking Grim Lavamancer. That's for sure. Pain. Battlefield Forge definitely gives me this like, what do? You like literally set up a forge on the battlefield? That doesn't sound technically correct. That doesn't, I mean, I wouldn't do that. I mean, a strategic, I don't know, just seems like a crazy idea. But maybe that's red-white. Afterlife. Perfect removal piece, in my opinion, for this cube, for this meta. It's like it removes things, but it doesn't do it all the way. Like there's always a little catch, you know, like Remand or Arcane Denial. It's like it removes the thing, but there's this other thing, and it gives the opponents something. And I understand there's a lot of removal that just like takes away from your side of things, and that's fine too, but giving the opponent something, I feel, is so much more interesting. It makes it funner to play against, and it's just a better calculation. Sociologically. I don't know. I did go to school for sociology, but as you can see, it's not being used. Old school Morphling. Everybody sees this card and they swoon about damage on the stack, etc., etc. Urza Saga really was a moment in time for Magic. Like, shit was going down. Desperately makes me want to go and look up all the what was happening in media at the time. Like, what were the good movies, etc. Like, I feel like this came out at the same time Independence Day did. I don't know why. Somebody look that up. He's a solid 3/3, 5/1 or whatever. Deranged Hermit, not a real card. I mean, it's a real card, but it's not real. This is a proxy. Absolutely hilarious to play against. I mean, 5 mana for a bunch of 2/2s is just stupid good. And he's a 1/1. So this is the kind of crap that Chris Mage or that stupid little Bloodfire Dwarf, you know, just... But people don't see the Bloodfire Dwarf and think, oh, there's my answer to Deranged Hermit. They're like, screw Bloodfire Dwarf. Weatherseed Treefolk. Oh man, he's such a beater. Impossible to get rid of. Also, is there like a spaceship in the background? Oh no, there's actually a bunch of other tree folk in the background. There's no way to actually show this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Looks like the third or fourth beer is starting to get to me. Boop. Mark Poole, you suck. That picture is terrible. I could paint a better picture with my, if I pinched a burnt match behind my armpit of my knee. Love that card though. Okay, Parallax Wave. So overpowered. It does so much. It does so much. It's basically a wrath. I know that sounds crazy, but like, you clear the board. It's a one-sided wrath. You clear all their shit out of the way, and you essentially attack for lethal. You do shenanigans, a million different kinds of shenanigans with bouncing stuff. I don't know. If you're not playing Parallax Wave, y'all are missing out on some serious technical discussions. Talk about the stack. Fuck. All right, this is the last one. Then I gotta go because I'm too tired. I'm too tired. I need to enjoy the night. Vorax Shapeshifter. I cannot tell you how much this card means to me. It's so badass. It doesn't look like it, but just being able to discard anything and the Volrath turns into it is absolutely insane. So think about like discarding the Tree Folk, and all of a sudden, boom, you have your giant Tree Folk thing, and then the Tree Folk comes back into your hand, and then Volrath Shapeshifter turns into whatever else is on that fucking stack. So, not stack, but the yard. Like, the Shapeshifter can like turn into just anything in the great. I mean, I don't know. Yes. I know. I hear everybody being like, "Oh, I don't want to deal with any of that garbage about the graveyard, like order matters kind of thing." But this is the only card that I would say, yes, you do. It's so much fun if you can get this to work. Obviously, a pet card there. You can tell that it might not be very good, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Should I do two more? Two more. Hey, the Soul Sculptor. You know, Soul Sculptor just gives people, you know, like a weird imagination. They're like, Soul Sculptor. I can do like funny tricks, you know? Especially tricks with like Soltari Visionary, where like I'm gonna turn their things into enchantments, and then I'm gonna attack with the Visionary and blow them up. It's like fascinating, like niche removal line. And I've done things where like the Soul Sculptor will turn itself into enchantment. Then you do like a crazy board wipe of some kind, and then it boop pops back out when you play a creature. There's just so many weird things you can do with it. It's a weird card. Maybe I should get my cat into the thing. Here, Bishu, come here. My cat's really talkative. Come here. Hi. Ah. Yes. You're not supposed to be on the table. Hey! Don't step on the cards. Yeah. Okay. Well, dude, we're gonna cut it here. We're not gonna do it all. I'll put a bookmark in it. Maybe I'll do the rest later. Peace out.